Hello everyone. Whoops, my camera's a bit low. Hanging from the cable. Hello everyone, Agion here with another Company Heroes 2 replay. Spawn on the south side as the CoH2 Doctrine, we have Crazybread. Spawn on the north side as the USF forces, we have Romeo. And the camera's still not right. There we go. Looks like we do see an incredibly fast ambulance. Whoa. This is going to be a very interesting replay. We have CoH2 versus Fast Ambulance. I honestly don't see Fast Ambulance. This is probably the first time I ever cast a Fast Ambulance. It's something you really don't see and something you don't really notice when you're in game because since the ambulance is usually a little bit hidden. You have the first rifleman squad coming on out. He could going straight for the medic capture. I suppose that is a possibility. I actually don't think I've actually realized ambulance first strategy when I'm playing against it. Medic's going to get behind the ambulance, gets back in. There's no Panzerfaust at the moment because there's no tier 1. That minor damage is probably good damage soak, in fact. Pro move. It's something very unusual. You could go for another set of rear echelon just to get a bit more capping pressure. Rear echelon are not half bad, even against when CoH2 are trying to edge the cover. I'm pretty sure some of these models are not receiving actually the full bonus. Ooh, nice MG42 placement. Will not get the suppression. Will now. Will be forced to retreat, unable to use the ambulance for reinforcing sense of the suppression. Ooh, fighting position. No wonder he's a bit low on manpower. You got another rifleman squad coming on out. Rifle fighting position is very good. I say, since the lieutenant takes such a long time to research, that's primarily one problem with lieutenant attack. I would say it just takes too long to research. The fighting position is a good supplement to MG. Doesn't have munitions for it at the moment, however, and he CoH2 does have now this very good heavy cover. In fact, playing against CoH2, he should not actually place down the heavy cover because it gives the CoH2 that fighting bonus. Otherwise, they'll be forced to stick in open ground and not be in the capturing circle when fighting. I know, it's sort of weird. This is actually probably a bad thing when fighting CoH2. It's just strange to say that, in fact. Probably could go for a mortar team next to fight this MG, but more rifles is a good counter versus CoH2. We got another MG42 out. He's trying to cover up the central, well, this cutoff point. Very nice burst off, but they're in heavy cover, so they will withstand the suppression. Multiple bursts, anyways. The third one may, in fact, suppress it. Nope, he pulls back. Having the rear echelon in the fighting position for those free grenades is also pretty nice. The third rifleman squad is out, and since CoH2 is so cheap, he can have so many squads out. Plus, it's a little bit distorted in the fact that he also built the fighting position. An army composition in a way, but the CoH2 player, a very good position. I would say 4 CoH2 is the most you want. You could always go for 3 CoH2 and the artillery officer. The artillery officer really does make the CoH2 so much more powerful with that munitions to aura ability. The officer inspire. I was sure that's what it's called in the archive editor, or it's called to Assault Officer Inspiration. I forget exactly what it is actually called. But CoH2 just overwhelming the riflemen in numbers. Oh, but he's going to go straight through the wrong retreat path. The squad is pinned. Ambulance has not been used to a good effect. Versus CoH2, I guess, and against the MG42, he's been either pinned or not out of position for reinforcing. Looks like now the MG's now up. Now the ambulance can actually start healing up the squad and actually use it. Does spot the squad. Looks like we got the rifle grenades heading out this direction. multiple squads off stripping, he will lock down the fuel. There's nothing really to poke around the right side. He could build another rear echelon or rifleman squad, send over to the right side to help put pressure on that side. An off-stripping player will have the defensive advantage for a very long time. So there is reinforcements here, so he probably will win out in the long term, but he won't be cost effective, believe it or not. The squad, may get in fact picked off entirely, yeah, but it's all Strupen. Not a huge loss, in fact. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up the menu over here, but it's still the USF menu. I'm just trying to see what has no tier structures, no battle phases researched just yet. He has such a dominant position, he can go straight to battle phase 2 and get out a very fast Panzer IV or Ostwind. Or Stug if he really wants a Stug. Oststruppen will be forced back. Now is probably a good time to start teching up also. There we go. Battle phase 1 is now being researched. We got Lieutenant Tech. Ooh, we got MG versus MG. And he doesn't have to worry about mortars, so the MG is actually a very strong tool. However, not having the mortar, building a mortar himself to displace these MGs or a pack howitzer. Lieutenant will rip apart this Oststruppen squad in open ground. One model was just in range of the line of sight blocker. Will suppress the lieutenant. Ooh, that squad's very low, but he does have the ambulance here. Now the ambulance can start paying dividends. Before, it really hadn't done all that much. Trying to use this as a garrison, but there's only one window. Not exactly optimal, but will draw. Nope, he will manually target. Actually, it's actually in direct. He's directed to fire in this direction, so this lieutenant can actually get nice and close and start unloading into it. Of course, the defensive crew members and the other MG to support will make this very troubling for the USF player. A mortar team would be optimal. And I just realized my little camera angle and the little watermark I have are in the wrong position. There we go, that's fixed. And the microphone's on this time. I casted a replay the other day and it's like, nope. Gotta turn on the microphone when I was completely done with a 1 hour, 5-minute game. And let's just say I didn't bother to try to record it because, sort of triggered whenever I see that replay now. Because I happened to forgot to turn on the microphone. Oh, lost a unit entirely. I'm not sure what he lost. Lieutenant, the lieutenant's gone. Not sure where he lost it. I think he might have been over here. Was it on screen and I wasn't paying attention? I don't see any bodies from the lieutenant from down here. Not sure where he actually went down. It must have been completely on screen. Didn't pay attention. Oh, we got one Oststruppen wipe versus one lieutenant wipe. Lieutenant is 280 or 300? 300. So, squad wipes are still in favor of the austere player. He definitely wanted to go for Oststruppen. He is fighting for another day. So, by the way, the Oststruppen also affected by the bronze, silver, and gold infantry bulletins. Not the Grenadier cooldown bulletin, but they are affected by the bronze, silver, gold conscript / grenadier bulletins. So if you want to increase your Oststruppen's firepower even more, you add in those bulletins. I would say preferably the accuracy and the cooldown. The reload is relatively minor, but you got paratroopers are being called in. You got some elite infantry versus the cannon fodder. That's the best way to describe them. They're more. If you compare them to the terms in Wargame, there is militia, regular, shock, light, which is in sort of the same category as shock, and elite. And paratroopers are actually more considered a shock infantry in the game. There are some elite variants, but in this term, paratroopers would be shocks, considered a shock infantry type. The Ostroopman considered a militia type. Rifleman considered regular. Elites will probably... Hands and Grenadiers will probably be more considered a shock type. This Obersatz will be elite. Jaeger Light Infantry will be light infantry, or variant of shock. Or at least shock, near shock status, per se. But that's a bit off traffic. It looks like we're probably going to see cooked frag. Do got the incendiary rounds. Incendiary rounds does increase the damage, does not increase suppression. Ooh. Lost the rifleman squad. That's not good. I think the rifleman, yeah, went down over here, apparently losing to the Ostroopman. Ostroopman, they're very cost effective. Not necessarily great for assault, they're great at holding a line. They're strangely, I would say, slightly overperforming for their cost. You got a teller mine here, so if you were to throw a frag on top of it and the Osman goes above it, then he could snare it. But not at the moment. We do have the lieutenant tech, no AT whatsoever. There's a couple of anti-tank rifle, AT grenades. Oh, but he calls in the paratrop AT gun, uses the paratroopers to pick it up, reposition. Very good. Just had enough manpower for it. He will have trouble reinforcing all this. He needs to get the ambulance back into the healing circle. He initiates the healing circle way off his target. Fighting position will in fact go down. Ooh, looks like an MG42 did get snagged by the US player. No, this is the Browning. The MG42 must have gone down in the building. Perhaps by a couple frags. Oh, he doesn't have frag research. I'm not sure why I thought he had frags.
Our supply line just got cut off.
Paratroopers not fully reinforced. Looks like going to put it back. Does have the major out. Now the forward retreat point and the ambulance. Even though it's just a small amount, this really does help. Pioneers grab the building, and now he's going to swap it in for the MG42. Osman's are probably a very good choice at the moment for that powerful anti-infantry presence. Since he also saw a lieutenant, he doesn't have to worry about a steward. In fact, the Osman can fight a steward anyways. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Sometimes those things just properly lined up to cause a chain reaction. Unless there's two of them there. Looks like only one splotch. At first, the mortar land here, then chain reaction like that. We got a trench coming on down. Very good position. Though riflemen can still be able to use it since they don't need any specific angles. But you can always garrison the MG42 inside this angle. In this angle, with that angle. Oh, some fuel went down. Weapon racks? Grenades? No. Just one, he had 90 fuel the last time I checked. I'm not sure. Captain. No. Not sure what happened to his fuel. I could have sworn he had 90. You got a Panzer IV now being researched. Unless I was looking the wrong side. Or maybe he had 90. And this paratrooper is just getting ripped apart by the Oswood. The Austere player does have 2 engineers, so he will have an ample amount of repairs. Did get a US player did get a mortar, very damaged, but he pulls out before any models go down. Can be fully healed up. And use the AT gun to destroy the trench. Those things have pretty small accuracy. Target size, so it's actually quite hard to hit. Fighting positions and bunkers, however, have I think a perceived accuracy of 10 or target size of 10. Pioneers will come forward, going to get some very nice flame. The Brown did reposition. You may see a tactical assault here. Tactical assault is a very big double-edged sword, but at this point it probably would have been actually quite effective. Hence for rolling on forward, he will get the pintle mount. There's very little counters. There is a AT gun not positioned properly. 3 echelon capturing up the fuel. This cutoff point's quite big. It's denying this fuel income. He needs to get a Sherman tank. Oh, he's thinking about 35 fuel investment. I'm not sure what. I haven't seen that fuel. It seems like it's been dropping occasionally. We'll have another AT gun drop. That's probably very warranted. I'll deal with the Oswin and the Panzer IV. Paratroopers rolling on forward, probably going to see a cooked frag, but the guy who's throwing the cooked frag got hit by the Oswin. Nice little dodge out, but grabs the bunker for himself. Very nice.
57mm AT gun now deployable by air.
Ooh, these units just need to get back. Taking severe amount of losses. We are seeing the AT gun up. He does have the MG, this Browning in a very good position to cover the AT guns. I'm going to use the rear echelon to reinforce it. There we go. Has an ample amount of manpower, so he can play this a very aggressive playstyle for a good amount of time. He probably should not reinvest into another rifleman squad and paratroop or lieutenant, because or else it would severely drain his manpower. He is approaching enough fuel for a Sherman. He probably should in fact get the Sherman. Nice pincer movement on this AT gun. The other AT gun is not in position, but now is. That tank trap actually covered, trying to prevent the unit from circling around, sort of blocked their retreat path from the AT gun. He will reman it, rolling a bounce there, because these M1 AT guns are probably the smallest AT gun in the game, though very cheap. Ooh, the squad could in fact go down. The Phantom just turns around and engages it. But we'll hit the AT gun for a couple free models. We'll get 2 nice hits in. Could get a kill. It does have a very high rate of fire, but nope, just gets behind the line of sight blocker. If he would have continued out down this direction, he would have died if the swimming had penetrated. Those AT guns have very high rate of fire. They're very good against austere with their meaty armor base plate, and since the heavy armor is very far away, you really don't have to worry about the Panther or the Bombard. Ordinarily, you could always do a fast tech into Bombard, which would be very unusual, but can be quite devastating if properly timed. If this would have been a good game for it, perhaps the best game for it, due to the fact that he has sustained that additional fuel for such a long time. And with 75 points, this is a very do or die time for the USF player. He needs to secure up 2 points now. He can't lose forward and losing any more points. We do have the MG42 here. He could try to capture with the AT gun, but that would probably be highly ill-advised since he needs to deal with the armor. Bundle grenade coming out. Oh, but he's not getting out of the way. Ooh, severe amount of losses, but losing the Panzer Grenadier squad to the MG, to the Browning. Ooh, something must got hit there. Sounded like it could have been the mortar. Sounded like a mine to me. Arvman, this is how America destroys piles of fuel by shooting it over and over and over again. Ooh, runs on the S minefield, or what's left of it. There is that may have been the last of it. Oh no, there's one there somewhere. I'm trying to see if I can find that patch. I can double click it and see where it is. I think that's the only patch. We got the Oswin rolling around. We'll displace the Browning. The Browning can do scratches to it. It can actually put a dent, actually, not scratches. Oh, finds more of the S minefield. Oh no, there's definitely more. I was wrong. Now there's maybe none left. I don't think... Oh, no, there's some more. It looks like there was 2 minefields. That's why there was that chain reaction. You got a Sherman tank coming on out. Sherman's probably very warranted dealing with the Panzer IV. Jackson's probably a little bit too vulnerable to be swarmed by both of them. US player has actually sustained a triple cap against our opponent. Or his opponent. AT guns now reinforced, he could initiate the prioritized fire. Sherman tank rolling forward. Ooh, 80 rounds equipped? That's very ballsy when there's a Panzer IV and an Ostwind rolling around. Well, the Ostwind's not exactly a huge threat, and there goes the rest of the S-mines. If he sees the HE rounds, he could go in with his Panzer IV. Though there is no supporting pack. Do we have Battle Phase 3? He has a significant amount of fuel saved up. No. There's no Tier 3 anyways. Still the HE rounds equipped. That's very bold. He knows the Panzer IV is right there. He must be very reliant on these AT guns. Got one AT gun covering the other, so we won't have a severe pushback from this angle, but he will have a pushback from this. We'll destroy the MG entirely. Very nice. Actually, the Austere player has sustained a lot of squad losses. Losing that Panzer Grenadier squad again with tactical assault, ripping that squad apart. Probably should invest to do a minesweeper on this rear echelon, just so you can see these S mines. There's probably still some more left. Crazybread wondering about that damage. It was tactical assault. Do got a severe amount of damage on this Ostwind. Does initiate the body block and destroys it. And destroys it. I'm not sure why I put my voice up higher like that. We do have Battle Phase 3. He is going to build Battle Phase 3. He has a significant amount of fuel, not exactly manpower, so it looks like we probably will see a Panther. Losing both of those Panzer Grenadier squads is a bit of a problem. He can always go for Panzer Warfare Artillery Officer. Actually, 2 AT guns, a lot of infantry. That wouldn't be half bad. He has a significant amount of manpower. That's actually not a bad idea when I'm thinking about it. It will help displace these AT guns, and they can always use the coordinated fire to basically bypass the cooldown and fire off another barrage. By the time that gets done, he'll be approaching another fire and basically have sustained fire Panzer Warfare. It's really not. Trust me, the artillery officer plus the Panzer Warfare is a very strong combo. I've done that with Osttrooping before, and I ripped apart USF players back when I used to play a bit of 1v1s. I prefer 3v3s. It's different meta, a bit more armored focus. You can use more off-meta strategies. German tank has the HE rounds equipped. He hears, if he's paying attention to the sounds, he probably could hear the Panzer IV. He may be the Panzer IV, maybe using the sound of the Sherman. He sees HE rounds right there. He should engage, but he sees the AT gun shooting at him, so perhaps not. There's another AT gun here. We could see, nope, no rifleman here for the AT grenade. Ooh, timed demo charge? Is he crazy? He will, in fact, get the timed demo charge. Will he retreat back? Yes, he will spot it. I have actually never seen that before. I've used timed demos on bunkers, like on MG bunkers and command bunkers, but never on a garrison under suppression. Pro strats. Recede the ambulance play. We will have the railway artillery, so that will displace everything in that area. First round come down in, we'll get a model. Very worth. He's going to need to stay clear of this area. This is great for basically suppressing the opponent out of the area. Though now the next shots will have a larger spread. It'll probably have a spread about this much. Looks like it's spread it over here once again. You got a Panther rolling out. He will have the Pinto mount. And thanks to the Now the Pintle Mount no longer affects by prioritized fire. Now they can actually reasonably fight infantry and defend themselves while fighting tanks.
Capture point is being overrun. Weapon rack is now accessible.
Panther is now rolling on forward, though this building's a bit misleading. He's actually going to force fire through it. You can actually force fire through the destroyed building. This M1 AT gun will have a severe trouble versus the Panther. I would like to see a Panzer Warfare into Artillery Officer next. He has plenty of anti-tank. He just needs more anti-infantry. He's running low on Ostrupen. We have a bit of fuel build-up, but he's just lacking manpower, so most likely we'll see a Jackson next. Excuse me. You got the, I thought that was, yeah, the, this one that was a white round, like the Sabo rounds. What's it called, Tungsten? No, that's Discarded Sabot. Yeah, that's what it is. The Tungsten round was a rejected upgrade back in the beta version for the Austere units. And this flamethrower team will wipe out that bazooka team, because he has equipped bazookas on the riflemen. He actually has a significant amount of AT. He probably doesn't need a Jackson. He could go straight for another Sherman. Shermans are actually quite decent, I would say. I actually like Shermans, how they are. The problem is that they also need another option to help deal with the heavier armor. While Panthers, austere Panthers are quite a bit of a side tech, and they can only really fight vehicles. OKW, since they have very ease of access to Panthers, comparison, it's a little bit too strong. Just a little bit. But they are more expensive. If they lose them, they're in a huge world of pain. Do got another railway artillery. That's the last of his munitions, so it looks like the artillery Panzer Warfare idea will not be an option. Ooh, very close hit. We do got the Panzer IV coming in for a flank. Needs to turn off prioritized fire. Ooh, lost a squad of something. Ooh, Panzer IV main gun destroyed. And looks this AT gun will get in fact decrewed.
Just took out an entire gun crew.
Yeah, that would be the AT gun we just heard of. Not sure what went down. Saw the riflemen. We heard lost entire squad. Not exactly sure what it was, however.
Looks like we're getting into the excitement.
Probably something on screen. Oh, definitely the mortar team. That's what it was. Yeah, something on screen and we didn't really pay attention to it. Going for another MG42, they are probably quite reasonable. Going for another Panzer IV for anti-infantry, very reasonable. Probably, you may need to invest to another squad of Pioneers with all these vehicles, seeing the repair rate for the Pioneer squads are quite dismal.
On their line.
Oh, the other squad of Pioneers here maybe left out to dry. You could use Tactical Assault to try to wipe them, but perhaps I won't be able to. Drops in another AT gun. This one was entirely destroyed. Ooh, there goes his Pioneer, so he definitely needs another Pioneer squad. He is starting to rebuild it now. Two Panzer IVs, he just has enough munitions for the Pintle Mount. But as the US player starts building up munitions, we will see a P-47 rocket strafe. While the Pintle Mounts can't shoot them down, it can still, the initial barrage could be just enough to get some kills. It's also pretty good to cast that while very low health tank is retreating, just so we perhaps can finish it off. While the P-47 strength, some people say it's too weak, some people say it's too strong. It's generally agreed that the Ju-87 loiter is a bit overpowered. Looks like he has a Minesweeper out. He's starting to clean up those tellers out here and there. Those tellers were a good idea, but none of them were used to good impact since his opponent went for a lieutenant and not for a captain. Well, it can always wipe out the M10 and the M20 utility car and the M15. None of those appeared. Interesting spot for an MG. Won't really cover all too much. Wonder, is there windows on the side? Yes, there is windows on the side. You could utilize that building instead. Ooh, very nice shot from the Panzer IV with the open ground. Does throw a frag, but oh, whoa. Ah, the fighting position grenade. I was wondering why there was two grenades. We do got this German tank switching from HE to AAP. He is going to get overwhelmed by multiple tanks. We do got this AT gun at Vet 3, so it has increased armor penetration. Trying to make sure he stays out of the angle. Does get a main gun destroyed on this one. But the rear armor is being exposed on the Panther. This Panzer IV needs to start rolling around this direction. And the AT gun does in fact get a kill on the Panzer IV. Does initiate blitz on the Panther. The Panzer IV swinging around wide, very low health. Rolling some bounces there. He needs just to fall back. The other Sherman tank. Oh! He got out, but he lost enough crew members just so he couldn't re-garrison it. Anybody can grab that now. Or anybody of these two players. Does get a very nice burn. Entirely destroys the rear echelon squad there. He needs to get a squad out. No, he can't use the MG to capture. He sees it. Does he see it? The paratrooper squad is definitely trying to make a beeline for it, but he won't be able to. I don't think he can grab that while suppressed. But no, this is the US player. Show me the vision of the CoH2 player. He may not realize it's right there. Maybe just out of vision range. There we go. No, he definitely sees it. He definitely sees it. This paratrooper squad, however, can grab it. He just needs to grab it and get the hell out of there. Oh, he destroys it. That's probably a very good option if you don't think you can grab it. There's no AT gun in the area, so you could easily grab that. Using the timed demo charge just to destroy those buildings, very nice. It will destroy both of them. If that paratrooper squad would have gone in there, it won't capture. They would have became the crew, and the Panther would have waited for then. He could have wiped that entire squad. But better safe than sorry. Just a little missed opportunity. So then the engagement, one Panzer IV, one Sherman tank was exchanged out for each other. Though the Sherman tank was a bit foolishly lost, however, he could have easily kept that alive. New squad of Panzer Grenadiers trying to get some elite infantry. I'm not exactly sure what would be the right option. Brumbar may be a good option trying to deal with all this infantry. I would say the Brumbar is probably the next good option. Panzer Warfare Plus Artillery Officer is probably still now an option for the... since he has enough munitions for coordinated fire. He He does have this now vehicle crew. That's pretty much worthless. They're not very good in combat. Unless they have the Thompson upgrade. They can always be there repairing up the fighting positions that he lost. Which of course they are lost, so never mind. Almost all the buildings are destroyed. Which we usually don't see all these buildings destroyed. Usually there's at least a couple more still standing. Some very nice, good penetrating hits. But now they're both outside the arc. There is, of course, now the armor skirt, so he has more armor for the armor. Got some bazookas on this team here. One wrong step, and this building will, in fact, go down. We'll destroy that AAT gun. Probably safer than sorry while he last was under his control. These all shipping will get very good line of sight on this general area. These all shipping are just can't really fight against this unit in garrison, even though they're using bazookas. We do got another Panzer IV coming on out. We do have Jackson now on the field. Jackson's a very good counter to the Panzer IV. Not so much we'll have trouble versus the Panther, especially if it dives in upon it. Ooh, and this Panzer IV is getting caught out. The bazookas, this thing Panzer IV is good as dead. You gotta transition over, reversing, moving in, not exactly the most optimal, but he's trying to, it was the fastest way to get over there. This building's very low in health, even more low than it was before. You got a railway being called in right around here. Henceforth, the Panther will be rolling forward. He does get a good angle on the Sherman tank. If he just rolls on forward, he could blitz in for the accuracy bonus. Looks like the MG was decrewed, probably by the railway. Definitely by the railway. The point tickets are now down to 139 to 29. Triple Cats soon be in favor of the austere player. Pioneers capturing up this left side, but we'll get ripped apart by these Pioneers. Sherman. Ooh, wiped out that squad entirely. That's actually quite big. He needs those repairs. We are going to see a Stug, a cheap AT option. He really wants to get his ATs, as much AT out on the field as possible. There is a telemine still here, so there is a significant chance that he can run over that. Perhaps by the ambulance. Ooh, captures up himself a Browning. Ooh, now he's going very risky. He's trying to go in for a bundle grenade, but he decides to fall back. Let's get a suppression out. 5 the MG42 right here. Browning will have a bit of trouble versus that unit, that 3 unit against light cover. Panther rolling forward, but the Sherman tank is coming forward with HE rounds. Caught him with his pants down. Does lose the Browning. Jackson does get a very nice hit there. Trying to switch to AP down to, now it's loaded up, getting a lot of bounces. There's another Sherman out. This Panther's a little bit too far in, but there's our supporting Stug. Ooh, looks like AT rifle grenade from the rifleman there. The Stug needs to start reversing back, and then right around here is probably a good spot for it. Quite a bit of fuel by the US player. He is approaching rocket strafe munitions. We'll probably lose that squad of vehicle crews. The Shtug's very low on health. Oh! Bit of a miss, Micro. He decrewed it for the repairs, but then probably did a drag to select the Jackson. He is about 10 seconds away from rocket strafe munitions, and that may be the deciding factor of the game. Currently, there is a triple cap in favor of the US player. He has a very good defensive units out. He's starting to get his units up repaired. He will probably be repaired up before his opponent, since vehicle crews repair quite quickly, and there's more of them. Panther will be soon be fully repaired. The Shtug can engage without full health, since he'll probably be in the back line. We got MG42 captured at this point. Very nice. Did he cap the center point? Soon the points will be stalled out. We do got the rocket strafe coming on in. When he only sees one unit, he's trying to pick off that Panzer IV as soon as possible. Let's get the AT rifle grenade. Does get a very nice hit and destroyed by the loiter. Panther does get spotted also because of his pintle mount shooting up against the aircraft. That is actually telling the P4s where exactly to go. Does get overwhelmed by the Sherman tanks and the Jackson. Gets some very nice hits there. Another strafe is coming on in. Does in fact kill the Panther. This P-47 strafe, I would say it's actually... People say it's underpowered, needs a buff. I say it's actually quite good for at the moment. And this is one example why. And there goes the last of the armor. This is a decisive win in the end by the USF player. And looks like Crazybread has surrendered. This is a Lord.agion saying thank you for watching and signing off.